Luz promised her mother she would come back to Earth and never leave her again. But under no circumstances does Luz want to sever her ties to the Boiling Isles forever. Can she really make a decision? Will the decision even be up to her? In this video, we are discussing a way that Luz can continue living on the Boiling Isles and on Earth at the same time. Camila made it pretty clear that she does not want Luz to ever go back to the Boiling Isles. Understandably, after just finding out her daughter is in another world, where demons and all other kinds of dangers are lurking. And Luz was almost obliged to agree to her mother's wish, because how could she have broken her heart in that situation? So currently, Luz is trying to prove to Camila how great the Isles are through a video, since in reality, Luz hopes in the future she can come and go to the Isles as she pleases when she gets her hands on a properly working portal. However, she can only really begin convincing Camila when there is a safe way for her to go back, and that will probably occur sometime during the show's climax, meaning it's best she arrives at a decision before that. Omitting the possibility that Camila does in fact change her mind after the enemy has been defeated and all is well, Luz only has two choices: to leave or to stay. Or so it would seem, because she is not considering that the future of the entire Boiling Isles is currently at stake, meaning that her individual choice does not influence the actual outcome. Belos is planning to erase wild magic by combining the two realms on the Day of Unity. Given that the Emperor is not planning to commit something like genocide as far as we know, despite this being a Disney show, there should in fact be no problem with the villain succeeding, at least partly. Ultimately, the good guys may take the win like usually, meaning that total success is probably impossible for Belos, but potentially single aspects of his vision could be fulfilled. Or he really implements all steps of his plans, but the results differ from his expectations. Therefore, the human realm and the demon realm being merged into one is definitely within the realm of possibility. So far, the show presented no explanation for how Belos is exactly trying to achieve his goals and whether his ideas are based on theories or reliable research. Thus, imaginably, he manages to combine the realms, but for some reason wild magic does not disappear. Or instead of the realms melting into each other, they are connected by a permanent portal. This way, Luz would at least not have to part with Amity, Ida and King and her other friends. Although it's unclear whether she'll still be able to wield magic. I guess her relationships are more precious to her than magic though. However, does this alternative even make sense? And would it be a good choice or ruin the story? You could argue that looking at two strictly separated worlds is one of the show's most defining aspects, and by abolishing it, the story loses its crucial overall frame. Maybe this is just the star versus the forces of evil trauma speaking though. The Owl House is fundamentally different in a good way. While in Star vs. the forces of evil, the death of magic and the world's combination came in as a surprise at the very end and was not elaborated any further, in the Owl House this is all already a significant plot element that is on top of that very likely to occur. The event would naturally unfold as the story is progressing, being the opposite of far-fetched. Additionally, the show does not end at this point. Belos will clarify how exactly he intends to achieve the merging, and if he's successful, we'll see the characters tackling all the consequences, so that everything comes off as realistic inside of the show's setting. Apart from that, in the Owl House, only wild magic is at danger of being erased. Every witch and magical being still has their bile sac, and will continue being able to perform magic as usual. There really is no need to worry that if Belos succeeds, the Owl House suddenly lacks most of what makes up its story. Luz's development, in contrast, is in my opinion a topic that fans will have varying opinions on. Is Luz's decision undermined if she makes up her mind, but it turns out she did not have to force herself to choose because the realms have become one? From my perspective, Luz's character development will be unaffected, considering that this is again a special case, no matter which side she chooses. By opposing Belos, she is actively working towards keeping the realms separated, thus towards the scenario in which she must decide. Independent from where she opts to stay, she is trying to enforce that choice with all her might, what ensures this experience is a valid influence on her character all the same. In fact, the hero's growth is even supported through confrontation with fair and square failure. I believe at first, Luz would be unhappy, having fallen flat on preventing Belos' plans, despite enormous individual gains. Let me know in the comments what you think the future is holding for Luz.